All right, let's Adam. All right, Adam.
What's up, buddy?
Sounded like a Muppet having a stroke just now.
I think that happens. I think that's what happened to Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem. They all fucking stroked out.
I don't want to. You brought it up, but what's the gal's name in Electric Teeth and Dr. Mayhem?
Lips.
Yeah, that lip lady.
Nah, what the fuck is her name?
Is that the most attractive Muppet? I guess is what I'm getting.
Nah, dude. Miss Piggy is way hotter than her.
Like Miss Piggy is like a sex symbol, whether you want it to be or not.
I mean, I've seen pictures of Miss Piggy in lingerie.
Yeah.
And I was aroused. Wow. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, I could see it. It doesn't do it for me, but I could see why you would say that. Like, I could see that being a real.
I'm just saying, if there was like a anthropomorphic puppet pig that was like, you know,
she's a 10.
If she's DTF and she's
a 10 puppet pig.
She's sentient. She's like a real thing, right?
Okay.
Like if she has legs.
You met her at the bar. You met Miss Piggy.
You spread the ham hocks and there's real bacon in there. You know what I mean?
The Muppets don't exist in this universe, right? Which is a universe I don't want to live in, by the way. But for the case of this, you meet a woman at the bar. That woman looks exact. Is she felt? Is she a felt pig?
Oh, wow. Just imagine having a felt sentient, what's the word I'm looking for? A consensual Muppet pig. Fuck it pig. Not Muppets, they're fuppets. They're fuck puppets. Start a whole new thing. You have like.
I'm so glad we accidentally talked about the Muppets tonight.
AI. Hey, AI, make us some fuppets, all right? I want to see.
Those are already made, dude. You can find a puppet pretty easily.
Well, I mean, if you could buy them. I want them to bring them to life, though. Like, I want to pick up a puppet in a bar.
You want I
want a hot anthropomorphic animal puppet woman.
Dude.
What?
You're such a weeb.
I don't care. I mean, I'm being honest. Like, sure. And there's like Miss Piggies.
Anyway.
And there's Janice. Janice is her name.
Let's get back
Janice
to
Joplin.
Let's get back to brass tacks. What you're saying is, real life, sentient, consensual, drunken one night stand with Miss Piggy is definitely not out of the realm of possibility for you to consider and most likely engage in.
Yeah.
Thrill me. You know, there's gorillas in these woods.
Mortis, what's that?
It's all on the reflexes.
Chicken's good. I like chicken.
I'd buy that for $1.
Die in the way.
Die in the wind.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
I drink your milkshake.
Carpet Day.
You make me want to be a better man.
I'm running this monkey farm now, Frankenstein, and I want to know what the fuck you're doing with my time.
See you at the party, Richter.
Hey, people, you're on the internet. And
No. Do your strip club DJ.
Well, hey there, folks. You're at the internet right now, and you're listening to some smooth, silky shit coming in your ears by Snobby Bobby and the Crude Rude Dude. This is what we call the Not For Everyone podcast. So if you got panties on right now, I want you to stop, and I want you to drop them.
To be honest, I've never heard a strip club DJ with that much confidence.
Really? I should own strip clubs on the border, a couple of them. I don't now.
That doesn't sound like human trafficking.
No. It's just, they're sentient, they're consensual.
All right.
It's all
We're
good.
not talking about pigs, guys.
I would totally run a Fuppet strip club. It's like Meet the Feebles.
Adam, I wanted to bring this up to you because I was laying in bed the other night and I thought of this kind of out of nowhere. You know when like a weird, obscure memory from your childhood pops in and you haven't thought about it in years?
It happens.
And it really, I want to get your take on it. What I tell you based on how you know me as a person now. Let's make it about me for a minute.
Yeah, it's all about you, Bobby. It's the Bobby Show.
I was remembering a time, multiple times actually, an amalgam of a memory.
Wow.
When I was a child, in elementary school, let's say you're in third grade.
It's amazing how bored I am already. But yeah, you're third grade. Gotcha.
Okay, let me spice it up.
Please, God.
If I do this voice like you do, is it more interesting?
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So when I was in third grade, Adam.
Oh, he's really bad.
When I was in third grade, we always were very excited when the teacher rolled in a television set with a VHS player.
Yeah.
I remember they always played episodes of Reading Rainbow. What's Reading Rainbow for the folks at home that don't know?
Reading Rainbow is a fantastical TV show for children in the 80s about reading on a rainbow, starring LeVar Burton, who you might remember from Star Trek The Next Generation as Geordie LaForge with the cool little eye things on his eyes.
All right, we all know what Reading Rainbow is now.
Yeah, that's a Reading Rainbow. LeVar Burton.
So without fail, every time they would play an episode of Reading Rainbow in elementary school, the intro song would come on.
Butterfly in the sky.
And then I remember all the children gleefully joining in on the song and singing.
I can go twice as
singing
high.
in unison. So excited to watch Reading Rainbow on the day they thought they were going to sit through boring lectures.
Take a look. It's in that book.
Yes.
A Reading Rainbow.
And I remember looking around at everyone and thinking to myself, if I had the terminology, these fucking I wish they would shut up.
So you were already snobby in the third grade while other kids sang along. So you didn't join in the singing of this like I just did. You didn't join in right now when I was
like, it was cringe is what it was. It's cringier than this fucking podcast.
At least back then, you know what people didn't say? It was cringe.
I'm just saying, even at the ripe age of 8 or 9,
you were a cunt.
Being like,
yeah, I get it,
like,
Bobby.
Oh God, these kids, man, why the ugh.
Can you not just have a good time with others?
No.
Why? Why are you so mad if other people are having a good time around you?
I just remember at that time, even I was just like, God, shut up.
You know what you needed back then, Bobby? Liquor. If you had liquor in the third grade, we'd all be
singing in unison with LeVar Burton.
Yeah. So was that the point of the? Is there more to the story than that?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if you drew the connection, like, oh, you were an asshole then as you are now, which was pretty obvious. I guess.
I got that connection. I followed the breadcrumbs there.
I don't know what to tell you. It just is what it is. All right, well, that was a fun double cold open. Should I play the intro music?
Play it. I thought we already did.
It's too long. I'll play the old school one.
Thrill me. Good news is your dates are here.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
There we go. We've gotten a lot of complaints about the what was the term I heard? I heard that the intro music was unnecessarily long and kind of douchey. And I was like, that's harsh.
I don't care.
Okay, good. See, it's like you're 80, Bobby. It's like you're 80.
I can't think of anything I could care less about than what you just said.
I worked
really hard on it, so thanks for the feedback.
It wasn't me who said it. I love it.
I know. Talking to who the fuck that was. I don't give a fuck.
You should add that line from Cool Hand Luke. You know what? Just leave it how it is. It's perfect.
I'll change it up at some point.
It's perfection.
So anyway, you're listening to the Not For Everyone podcast. My name is Snobby Bobby. Right in front of me is Crude Rude Dude.
Crude and rude.
We're going to have a good one tonight. It is Summer Flopbusters.
Flopbuster videos. We've made it all the way.
Through Hudson Hawk.
And we're homing in on the next destination on this shitty tornado that we're riding. And it's landing on Waterworld.
1995. I should probably have that in front of me.
I think.
I should probably have that in front of me.
95.
Here it is. 1995's Waterworld, starring one Kevin Costner and also the beautiful Janine. What the hell happened to Triplehorn?
Jean Triplehorn. I want to rename this episode Kevin Costner is a So are we able to talk about this right now?
No. Let's not talk about it. But that's a little teaser for the main event tonight. But first, let's go to movie recap. Should we just get this one out there? The one we both saw? Should we just keep this momentum going?
Sure. Just go with it, Bobby.
Before
we just talk all over each other.
I'm glad you agree, because what I took the liberty of doing is I wrote a radio play, Adam. I wrote a radio play.
Oh, did you?
Based on a text messaging exchange you and I had in our group chat, our very exclusive group chat.
Wait, you wrote you're saying
the script can be found in your phone in your SMS application.
Oh, so I got to find it in my own phone.
But here's the twist.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to play Crude Rude.
No, we're not doing that.
We're not
Nope,
doing that.
we're not doing it. You're playing you.
Okay.
I'm playing me.
That's fine.
I don't like the way you play me.
All right. This is our radio play text review of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. (8:58 a.m., July 12th, 2023.
A Wednesday. Watched Dial of Density last night. It wasn't as horrible as I thought it was going to be. Honestly, I thought The Flash was better.
I'll play the part of Austin. That doesn't sound like a ringing endorsement.
It's not. It was okay, but compared to the other genre fare we've had this year alone, it wasn't close to the best.
We'll talk indie on the next movie recap. The end of that movie is so stupid and amazing.
I don't understand how
I need more passion from you, Adam. It doesn't sound like Crude Rude, dude. It just sounds like you're reading. It sounds like you're a guy reading. I just need you to be Crude Rude. Do this in your own voice because you're playing yourself.
I fucking
shouldn't
hate
be
you,
complicated. This is why I wanted to
Shut
switch
the
roles.
fuck up, Bobby. I don't understand how whenever I talk about any comic book movie,
Here you go, whiny.
you cut me off, saying it's all nostalgic bullshit, money-grabbing drivel. But here you are, sucking Disney's dick.
Somebody woke up on the wrong side of the waifu pillow.
You're a hack, Bobby. Doesn't matter what side of the pillow you wake up on, you're always going to be a goddamn hack.
You know what your problem is? Binary thinking. No ability for nuanced conversation. It's either badass or that was stupid. And anytime someone tries to list pros and cons, you short circuit and call me a hack. Okay, buddy. Very insightful.
Your opinion is based on preconceived notions of films without ever viewing them. You liking Dial of Density shows me you'd probably enjoy these other movies that you try to shit all over without ever watching.
Now you're really dialing in the character here. This is exactly how this person sounds.
Thanks, Bobby. Thank you for that.
Fucking uppity and whiny.
You calling me uppity. Just read. Can you do that?
Also, fuck Marvel movies. Long live indie.
Long live Indu. Excuse me, let me correct that. Indie. Sorry. Your typo in your script was terrible here, Bobby. You sound like a shill for the mouse, Bobby.
I've watched about 15 out of 40 MCU movie. Enough is enough. They're all the same. Same beats, same style of humor, same MacGuffins. It's a copy and paste nonsense for chicken biscuit man children.
There's literally no difference between the big budget fare you act like you're too cool to watch and that cut rate indie movie that you're coming all over. Your opinion, it simply holds no water, Bobby.
There's one person getting defensive here. Who do you think that is?
Yeah, Bobby. One person is getting defensive. You.
Me saying the end of indie was fun nonsense is definitely coming all over it. Have you ever come before? It's not the same feeling.
Bobby, you loved it for all the reasons that you hated the Mario movie.
Also, coincidentally, I just came on my Temple of Doom VHS.
That's just because you're hot for short round.
Lest we not forget, the mouse owns the MCU too.
I mean, honestly, Indy was fine. It was okay. But I just had a discussion with someone, I can't remember who, my memory eludes me, but they were saying that movies need to be better than just okay to get their attention, Bobby.
Adam, was the new Spider-Verse movie beautiful? Did you clap when you saw the new version of Spider-Man appear? Did you enjoy the part in MCU movie X when you saw something you fondly recognized? Did you clap? At this point, you might as well put out a POV movie of your mom breastfeeding you, because that's what the MCU is.
Yeah, okay, believe me, Bobby, we get it. This is the same rhetoric you spout anytime the MCU is mentioned. I don't even bring it up. It's like you're more obsessed with it than I am.
Is there a Funko Pop of your mom's lactating titty? That's what I really want.
What? No, it's your line.
Cover me in mama's milk. I want to feel safe. Ejaculates. I think that was the end of it. I think that's the end of the Indy 5 review. Any final thoughts on that one?
That
I think we got it all out there, to be honest.
So we're done talking about Indy.
Look, I'm going to give you the blurb here.
Okay.
Indy 4, Dial of Destiny, all hail
Indy 5. Indy 5.
Indy 5. Now hail the fourth worst Indiana Jones movie, the new fourth worst, or fourth best, I mean.
Yeah, the new fourth best.
All I was hoping for was better than King of the Crystal Skull.
You know, I liked,
and it didn't annoy the piss out.
I liked that they killed off Shia LaBeouf off screen.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Jar Jar thing.
He's dead now.
He's a senator in Coruscant now. No, he died in Vietnam. R.I.P. Mutt Williams.
Is that what his name was?
Yeah. It's not the worst character. Dude, it's Indiana Jones. Come
I
on.
don't know, man. Look.
The first,
We can say, dude, it's Indiana Jones, right?
We've said it a million
But you know
times.
what I watched before I watched The Dial of Density? I watched fucking The Last Crusade. And The Last Crusade is the third best of the real indie movies, right? It's not the best one. It's not even the second best one. But it's fucking amazing.
I alternate Temple of Doom and Last Crusade through most of my life, but I think I am a hardcore, unapologetic Temple of Doomer now.
All the way.
All the way.
Temple of Doomer. Where's Raiders fall?
That's tough. That's like
here's the
that's
thing.
like asking me where does A New Hope
Right,
fall.
exactly, Bobby. And that's the thing. Like, we shouldn't even be talking about where the Dial of Density falls on the fucking scales because
say the line right. It's not
No.
that bad.
no,
Say the title.
I
correctly.
will not say what the mouse wants me to say.
All right, I respect that.
So no. The point is like, and you just made like Star Wars, right? We can sit here and argue for days about what is better of the 3 Star Wars films. What is better of the
I'm
3
pretty
indie
sure we've
films?
done that literally for days.
Exactly.
An entire podcast. if you will.
Exactly. And I guess the point is like, there shouldn't be anything after that.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be any
This
more.
is all fucking charted waters here. All
There
right.
shouldn't be any more, Bobby.
You thought it was, it had its moments, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't as bad as the last one. It was dumb.
I mean, we basically agree. I just was a little more excited about it than you. I think it's just because I'm a bigger indie fan than you. And I loved the ending. I really did like the ending.
What, when they go to ancient Greece?
Spoilers.
Yeah. Indiana
If you
Jones.
haven't seen it yet, you don't care.
The Dial of Destiny is a time travel device by Archimedes.
Dude, if you're gonna go hard in the paint. Like it was time travel. I can't buy
I got a real
Crystal Skull CG aliens. I can't buy that, but I can buy time travel.
I got a real Hudson Hawk vibe off of the Dial of Density.
I honestly think I like Dial of Destiny better than Hudson Hawk.
I don't think that James Mangold made it, and James Mangold made
How
Logan,
bad could it be? Yeah. Exactly.
But he also made the Wolverine, the one in Japan. That movie's dog
I
shit.
like that movie.
It's fucking dumb.
See, I like all the bad Marvel shit.
But it has bad CGI.
Who cares? Just get over that shit. You're 43 years old. Stop bitching about CGI on everything.
The fuck does that mean? Okay,
It's
Bobby.
like, we literally created a 4-year running podcast in which we just bitch about CGI.
That's the whole point
it's
of
time
this
to stop.
podcast.
It's time to let this go.
No.
This has all been one long intervention for us to overcome our hatred of CGI.
I'm going to tell you something, and we already talked about this before, but there's good CGI and there's bad CGI. I rewatched a modern masterpiece just the other day, just like within the last 36 hours, a little film by Paul Verhoeven called Starship Troopers.
Movie recap.
And Starship Troopers is without a doubt one of the best action science fiction war movies ever made. It captures the idea of war. It captures the idea of fascist regimes, and it has giant killer bugs, has camaraderie, has Clancy Brown and Michael fucking Ironside.
And as all good Paul Verhoeven is, it is top-notch satire.
Such satire. So amazingly, satirically delicious. So, talking about good CGI and bad CGI. I was watching, I actually did some research on this Waterworld fiasco that we watched, and I watched a video about the making of,
So
right?
you watched the making of Starship Troopers.
So I watched the making of Starship Troopers. And I've been saying this for years, like the CGI in Starship Troopers holds up so fucking good. It looks perfect. And it was from 97. So what I'd never realized until the other day is the gentleman in charge of the bugs in Starship Troopers was Phil Tippett, who used the exact same method to create Jurassic Park.
Right.
And Jurassic Park holds the fuck up.
I think this is just a theory. I think what it is I think the software is very available now, but you still need good fucking artists working the software.
Well,
it's like hiring a good coder versus someone that just kind of piddles with JavaScript. Or
well, what they did with those movies is it wasn't just CGI. It was a CGI and there were bugs and there were dinosaurs.
Most things are a little hybrid.
Yeah, well nowadays it's like there's this I'm holding this rocking horse and it's green. It's a horse head.
Like you could have just found a rocking horse and used it.
Right. But I mean what I'm saying is when they film like a giant monster, it's a guy in a suit with balls all over him. It's not like back then where like we still have to build a giant motherfucking bug or a goddamn T-Rex, you know?
Yeah.
That combination that
Well,
Phil
like-
Tippett was doing in the mid 90s
Yeah.
is like it still holds its own with anything any of these big budget movies are doing.
The first Jurassic Park looks better than any other Jurassic Park,
Oh yeah, 100%.
right?
Nothing looks that good except Starship Troopers.
I mean,
and RoboCop. He did
There's a
RoboCop.
little bit of awkward age CGI in the first Jurassic Park, but it is far from the worst thing I've seen in 2023.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't even look at Jurassic World.
Oh, that was pretty cool. I like that. I like those. movies.
Fucking, he was a dinosaur cowboy. It's fucking stupid.
We're not gonna
It's fucking dumb, Bobby.
rechart everything from Star Wars to Indiana Jones to CGI to now Jurassic Park.
Starship Troopers, bitches.
Okay, so let me ask you this:
Yeah.
Have you've probably ranked the three holy Verhovens? Where do you put them now?
I'm glad that you asked that, Bobby, because for years it's always been this, right? I love RoboCop. I love it. I love it very much. It's dear to my heart. It is the bottom of the three. It's always been RoboCop, then Starship Troopers, and then Total Recall. And it's tough for me. Total Recall and Starship Troopers are very mutable between them. Both of them to me are better than RoboCop. And don't get me wrong, I love RoboCop more than most people do, right? But
That's how much you love Paul Verhoeven.
yeah. So yeah, where's it stand for you, Bobby? You like RoboCop better than the rest of them, like most people?
Yeah. My ranking is last is Starship Troopers.
Right. And then Total Recall.
Yeah.
Makes sense, and that's fine. I am
Like no one, no matter how you order those, no one can disrespect it. I think. You know what I mean?
it's like
You can't be like, "Are you fucking crazy?" But it's like, no, I could see that.
it's like The Thing, Escape from New York, and Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah, that's really hard. We've done that one before.
It's not even worth trying. I can't because I can't say what's better, Big Trouble in Little China or The
Right.
Thing. I can't say which one's better because they're totally different flavors.
I agree. I like both those better than Escape from New York, and Escape from New York is literally one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Which means those other two are as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've talked about that on other episodes.
All right. Holy Trinities, we did it. Moving on.
So, what did I watch?
You said you watched something good, and I don't believe you.
No, I did. Oh, that's right. I did watch something good.
What'd you watch?
I watched
Bobby?
something so good the other night. I got to pull up my Letterboxd. Yes. On Saturday night, very late at night, 1987. Let me read you the cast.
Okay.
Year 1987.
Okay.
Cast is going to be Mark Harmon.
Mark Harmon, is this summer school? Did I get it right first try?
What else is?
What else is it gonna be?
NCIS? Did you watch NCIS?
No, there's nothing else with Mark Harmon other than fucking summer school.
In NCIS.
I never watched him on that, but
It's like a long-running TV show.
yeah, I know what it is. I didn't know he was on. Okay, well, good
He's
for
like the
him.
main guy on that show. But anyway, yeah, Kirstie Alley's in it. Dude, what?
Is it? It holds up.
I mean, it was never great,
Sure.
and it's the exact same experience watching it now.
Is it better than Little Monsters?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But whatever happened to?
Mm-hmm.
God, she was so
Shawnee Smith?
striking. Well, yeah, Shawnee Smith for sure.
Is that who we're talking about?
No.
Was she in summer school?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, fuck yeah. She was.
Fabiana Udenio.
Meant to look her up.
She was a lot of vagina in Austin Powers.
Oh yeah.
And she was in Hard Bodies 2, which is one of my favorite Hard Body sequels.
How many?
That woman is like so, and I'm not even trying to say this to be like gross. I'm just like, you're so beautiful that like you shouldn't, it doesn't make sense that you even exist.
I can't find any good pictures of her older than her being old. Oh yeah, I remember.
I'm like,
her.
how is this? You're like a freak of nature. Anyway,
No, she's Italian, bro.
she's an Italian bird. And then
I
of course,
love me those Italian birds.
I like Kelly Jo Minter too. That she was in Popcorn.
Okay, so are we just
Yeah.
talking about these chicks that you liked in this movie that were hot?
Yeah, there's hot.
What is this movie about? What is Summer School about,
Courtney
Bobby?
Thorne Smith from Melrose Place and the Carrot Top classic, chairman of the board. Summer School is about Mark Harmon, and he's going to go away to Hawaii on the last day of school. He's a
Hawaii.
teacher just so he can have the summers off and surf.
Okay.
And the guy that was supposed to teach summer school wins the lottery in the very beginning of the movie, and he's like, I quit. I won $50,000, which is like $4 million in 1987.
Oh, did you adjust it for inflation yourself?
I did. It's $4 million.
Cool. Wow. Wait, 50 grand was $4 million?
No, I was just totally joking. Even when he's quitting, the principal's just like, you're doing all this for 50 grand? Like, it's kind of a joke. But anyway,
Right.
that's how poorly paid teachers are, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a joke on that.
They're like, no, sir, that's just what you should be getting paid a year, but you're not.
You should be getting paid twice that.
Yeah.
even in 1987. So then, like, Mark Harmon's literally on the way to the airport with his girlfriend to go to Hawaii for the summer, and the guard's like, "You can't go. You got to teach summer school." And he's a coach. He doesn't know how to teach English, but he has a ragtag group of welcome back Cotter sweat hogs and a hot Italian exchange student for some reason, because it's the 80s.
As a hot Italian exchange student in summer school.
Yeah, I guess he's trying to catch up on our English or something. That kind of makes sense. And the
So
new
wait. I haven't seen this in forever. Like, really, I haven't seen this since I was like 12.
Oh, you want to talk about summer school? I'll talk about summer school all day.
But I'm asking, like, so he was in the airport,
He was getting in the car to go to the airport.
and he was going to go to the airport to go to Hawaii with his girlfriend.
Correct.
Did she go without him?
Yeah. That was kind of a joke too. It's like, oh, well, this bitch isn't worth it. That was kind of his like, well, why would she go without me? You know, kind of thing. She's not the one, right? But the one is
The Italian bird.
No, she's a student. You can't.
Oh.
It
was a different time,
But
Bobby.
I
It
have
was
a
a
story
different
about
time.
that too in this movie.
Of course
But the
you
love
do.
interest becomes Kirstie Alley, is the other teacher's teaching summer school, and he doesn't know how to teach. She's like helping him and all that shit.
God rest
And they're
his
like, we
soul.
can go on field trips, and they go on field trips. There's a whole montage. We're on roller coasters, all that shit. There's Chainsaw and Dave. We're like Chainsaw and Dave.
Yeah.
But and then it got really weird. I don't know, like it didn't seem weird at the time, but like Courtney Thorne Smith plays the girl that like has a crush on Mark Harmon. She's a student. She like wants to move in with him and moves in with him and shit. And they're like, this isn't really appropriate, and you can only stay here until you get back on your feet. And I'm just like, these people would all be in prison today.
I mean,
That's summer school.
it was a different time, Bobby. It was a different time.
It has Mark Harmon.
It does have Mark Harmon, and it also has all those broads that you named, and I love them all. I'm probably gonna hold off on watching Summer School for a while.
I recommend it. I think it's a regular summertime classic for me.
It is a summertime classic. You know, I want to see. I want to hang out with Summertime
Carl Reiner
Frank.
directed it.
Who?
Carl Reiner.
Oh, not Rob Reiner, but the other Reiner.
Yeah, the other Reiner.
Is he? Would you say? Is he a better Reiner or less?
I think they're related.
lesser Reiner.
He's a lesser Reiner. He's no Princess Bride Reiner. He's the summer school Reiner.
I think that's the other Reiner's dad.
Yeah, it's not something like that.
I don't know. Don't quote us on that. I'm not reading all the article.
You don't come for the accurate facts on Hollywood. You come for the boners.
I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I'm so glad we do this podcast, because otherwise, like this encyclopedic knowledge of just dumb,
would've
half
been.
remembered shit. would
Yeah,
be
it's
for
not
nothing.
even that dense. It's not even that good
What, my
or
memory?
accurate. Both
Oh,
of us.
Fuck you. Mine's better. Than
I mean,
yours.
our movie knowledge
If we
is
were to movie trivia it out, if
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
made a fucking
to
movie trivia
normies
list,
for sure. Like if we go to like, yeah.
No. I'm saying a competition
Uh-huh.
between you and I.
Why do you got to be? I'm talking about us.
I'm better than you.
Okay, cool.
Oh, as a team, do
yeah.
it. And
And you actually might win because you have such a good memory. So
That's
there's
right.
that too.
You're right.
But whatever. I'm just saying, like, if when we go to pub trivia and there's like a movie one, we're like, fuck these people.
The
They're
problem is
done.
with the pub trivia, there's all these things I don't pay attention to, like sports,
like
and
anything past
geography,
2003.
finance. Like, give me pop culture. Fuck off.
They're like, which Jonas brother? Yeah, that's the only movies I watched.
Summer school. All right, so I watched something. I watched this with my dear friend Austin, or Simple Austin, as some might know him as. We hung out, we ate Vietnamese food, and we watched a David Cronenberg film that we had never seen. We watched it together. I'm not going to talk about that movie today.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about the other movie that we watched. It was two movies that
Can I ask
Austin.
what that movie was, though?
Oh, the Cronenberg movie we watched was called M. Butterfly.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
It wasn't a bad movie. It was a good movie. Not my favorite Cronenberg.
It's not my favorite Cronenberg.
It's a good movie. But what I did watch that he made me watch that I had never seen before. I'll tell you a little story about a
Fuck,
big
is this
actor.
what it's like listening to me?
Yeah, it's worse listening to you. I'll tell you a story about a big actor who got real famous for a couple movies back in the 90s or something. One
Pauly
British
Shore.
gentleman, Jason Statham.
Oh, he's still famous.
Yeah, he's still famous. So he got famous back then.
Oh, I know.
So
What this
Jason
is.
Statham has always just like kind of been like Jason Statham.
I love him.
I love him too.
I love him in those Expandables movies.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Expendables.
Jason Statham is always Jason Statham, and that motherfucker punches sharks in the face. And it's badass.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I'd say like he's up there with like a Lee Majors, a fucking
Well, of our era, like
Charlie
he's
Bronson.
the best. He's the closest thing we're going to get to like a Schwarzenegger or a Stallone of this generation, right?
true.
It's not as celebrated anymore, the action
Right.
shit, but
yeah.
Statham's like the best on the Titanic, you know?
He is. He totally is. And he's keeping that thing afloat with his fucking biceps.
Yeah.
So Jason Statham made
Next
a
is like
couple
The
movies.
Rock, and I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, The Rock's okay. The Rock's like
he's okay, but he's not Stallone.
He's not Stallone. He's not Arnold. He's
he's not even
Arnold.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Poor fucking Rocky Johnson or whatever the fuck his name is.
He's no Michael Dudikoff.
I think he's got Dudikoff.
I almost said LeVar Burton. I meant Christopher Lambert.
Yeah. I think he's got Lambert beat too.
And LeVar Burton.
So Jason Statham made a couple movies I'd always heard good things about, but never watched. And I watched 2 movies. One called Crank.
Oh, yeah.
And the other one called Crank High Voltage.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit, are those movies they are my cup of tea. It's like that movie was made with me as the target audience in mind.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I'm just going to use this as a comparison. Mm-hmm. The best action franchise of the moment right now is probably John Wick.
Yeah. I mean, currently.
And as fun as they are very grim, right?
Sure.
Where something like Crank or even The Transporter, like those were tongue-in-cheek and fun.
See, I'd always wanted to see Crank. I don't know why I hadn't. But the guys that directed it, like Neville Dean Taylor's 2 guys, right, that directed together. And there's another movie they made, which you know how much I love this fucking movie, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Yeah.
The crazy ass second Ghost Rider movie was made by these guys. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know how I never watched it. So the story is he's like a hitman, and some other bad guy hitman like inject him with this like poison that's gonna kill him in like 6 hours. But he realizes if he just like keeps going and keeps his heart going like super fast pumping, then he's not gonna die.
I think it was called The Man That Couldn't Slow Down.
Yeah. So he's just out there running amok, like doing all the drugs and like putting fucking jumper cables on his nipple and his tongue, and
you would be very tired after that.
Oh yeah, but he can't stop. He's like a shark. Like if he stops moving, he's gonna die. It's so over the top and fucking insanely ridiculous.
Yeah,
fantastic.
I haven't seen it since it came out, and I'm not sure if I've ever seen the sequel. But
the sequel starts the second the first one.
Of course
ends.
it does.
It's
That's
like,
perfect. That's
from
perfect.
that second, it's just
it's not like he's not just like wake up an alarm clock. Like this is like 6 years later.
Right.
He has grown a beard. And
Right.
No. Crank don't play that shit.
Crank. Watch Crank and Crank 2 streaming on some shit.
And that was movie recap. I guess it's time to get to the main event, Adam. What did we watch this week on the Not For Everyone podcast?
We watched Waterworld. Oh. In a future where the polar ice caps have melted and Earth is almost entirely submerged, a mutated mariner fights starvation and outlaws smokers and reluctantly helps a woman and a young girl try to find dry land.
You know, that voice of that guy is like of this era.
Yeah.
That voice probably actually did the trailer for this.
Probably so. Let's listen to it right now.
The future. The polar ice caps have melted, and the Earth lies beneath a watery grave. Those who survived have adapted to a new world.
What did you see out there in your 15 lunars?
Such as?
An end? An end to all this water?
You're asking the wrong person.
You weren't there.
So what's the word? We trading or not?
And the human dream is the search for a mythical place called dry land.
It doesn't exist!
How can you be sure?
Because I sailed farther than most have dreamed. I've never seen it.
This place, this whole way of living, it's ending.
Straight line leading directly to dry land.
Dry land is not just our destination, but it is our destiny!
Universal Pictures presents a world unlike any you have ever seen. Kevin Costner, Dennis Hopper, Gene Triplehorn. Waterworld.
1995's Waterworld, starring Kevin Costner, Dennis Hopper, Janine Triplehorn, and Deb from Napoleon Dynamite.
Gene Triplehorn.
Now, Adam, Waterworld. Waterworld. I have a feeling we're going to trigger some people because there is a big cult following.
It's a big cult following. There's a lot of people I know that really, really love Waterworld.
And I want to put that out there now, and I also want to preface by saying Adam is about to make you guys very angry, and I'm about to be as diplomatic as possible.
Sure. Listen, if I hate Waterworld and you love it, I don't think any lower of you, right? It's fine. I can see why people love it. I just really don't fucking like Kevin Costner.
And we'll get into all that on this episode of Not For Everyone podcast. Waterworld. Waterworld was directed by Kevin Reynolds, who's known for Waterworld.
He's known for Waterworld. And also that other piece of shit, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Okay. This guy is a Kevin Costner director. Okay. He also did Fandango, which is a really good 80s coming of age movie.
Is Kevin Costner in it?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Very young Kevin Costner. Fandango.
I was wondering that while watching this movie, right? Was young Kevin Costner, was he ever like good?
He was just Kevin Costner.
Right. He's always just Kevin Costner.
Let's just get it out there now. Here's my problem with Kevin Costner is I don't hate Kevin Costner, but I think he's miscast a lot. And he's nothing to write home about either. But he's in a lot of like decent movies, and he's kind of a icon of that era.
I don't understand how he's so fucking iconic. I really don't get it. I don't see him as the leading man.
He was in Field of Dreams, Adam.
I don't give a fuck about Field of Dreams, Bobby.
I'm agreeing with you. It's like I don't understand it either, but I'm also like not mad at most of his movies or his performances. But
he's just bland.
I will say
vanilla. He's like a certain flavor of vanilla. It's like Kevin Costner and Patrick Wilson.
I kind of get Patrick Wilson vibes.
Right. It's just this bland ass vanilla.
It's not the talent. Like, as I think Tom Hanks is very vanilla, but he's a good actor.
He's a good actor. He's funny. Tom Hanks is funny. He's a good actor.
Yeah. But like, just speaking of this director and speaking of Kevin Costner, I will say that Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is probably one of my most cherished childhood movies that did not hold up.
yeah, I bet.
Did not hold up.
I bet you watch it now.
Alan Rickman's great in that movie.
He's great.
And there's a level of nostalgia with it, but it's really not great. And I kind of have to admit it's not great because a lot of that has to do with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about Kevin Costner in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
I'll say this. Any movie that Kevin Costner is in would be infinitely better if Kurt Russell had gotten that role.
Well, it's interesting you say that because
100%.
I actually had this thought while watching Waterworld because Kevin Costner seems so miscast.
Yeah.
I was like, this belongs to like a gruffy like Harrison Ford or Kurt Russell or even a fucking Lorenzo Lamas.
And any movie with Kevin Costner would be better with Lorenzo Lamas. Just saying, man. Fuck Kevin Costner. Fuck him. Okay, so
Lorenzo Lamas is the Postman.
I still never see the Postman. I hear it's Waterworld, but on dry land. I'm like, so it's Mad Max?
That's kind of a hack comparison, but
yeah, it's kind of a hack movie because it's got fucking Kevin Costner in it. Here's the thing. Every movie starring Kevin Costner has to be the Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp.
Is he notorious, like kind of egomaniac type?
Okay, so what I watched.
Oh, did you read some shit on the internet?
So Bobby told me to do some
Adam.
Bobby told me to do some research. So I did some research. I watched a couple of YouTube videos. I tried to start some, and they were really like, you could tell it was like a fanboy watching Waterworld. I'm like, I can't watch this shit. So I watched one that had a more critical eye towards it because that's my opinion, is a critical opinion of this film.
Was it not badass?
What?
Waterworld.
It was not badass. It was not badass.
With your critical opinion.
So apparently, Kevin Costner got into it with Kevin Reynolds, the director. And the reason they got into it, and I'm bumping heads, there was a lot of animosity between these two Kevins. And it was because, funny enough, the same reason that they butt heads on the making of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is that Kevin Reynolds is trying to make a good story. He's trying to show this world, right? And Kevin Costner is trying to show Kevin Costner. And everything has to be Kevin Costner. This is my character. This is my fucking movie, right? He was mad, apparently, and this is as the rumor goes, right? This is all rumor mill shit, right? Costner was mad at Kevin Reynolds because Alan Rickman was so fucking good in that movie, and there was more of him. Like, he wanted less Rickman and more Kevin Costner.
See, I think that Prince of Thieves should have been just that Robin Hood story told from the point of view of Alan Rickman as the sheriff of Nottingham.
So when you look at somebody trying to tell a story, right? The director was trying to tell a story. The story of this world. Let me believe this world. Let me understand this Robin Hood world. Let me understand this world of water that you're trying to fucking tell me exists in movieverse, right? Where Kevin Costner's just trying to make himself the man. So
it's Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner made a movie called Wyatt Earp. It's 3 hours and 11 minutes long of just fucking Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner masturbating in a cowboy hat.
It's Kevin Costner jerking off to himself. The same year, another movie came out.
Wyatt Earp is a good movie, though.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good movie. Not when it's compared to another movie, a little thing you might have heard of called Tombstone.
Okay, fair.
Unmitigated classic, cult classic, beloved movie. So there's a funny story behind the making of Tombstone. Apparently, the original director got fired. All the mustaches in the movie were real. They all grew real mustaches. There's only one guy who was like the sheriff of some town that didn't have one. He was
like
sad.
Powers Booth or something.
No, Powers Booth. That was a real fucking Powers Booth stash. There's a real Powers Booth.
Fucking better be.
So anywho, when the original director goes away, Kurt Russell's like, well, fuck. I want to make this movie. This is a passion project for me because he loves that fucking story, right? So he takes the script, he rewrites it. He brings in George Cosmopoulos, who is the director of, was it Rambo 2? Which was basically ghost directed by Stallone, I hear. Kurt Russell basically ghost directed Tombstone. He changed up the script, and what he did was he took Wyatt Earp's character.
This is the rumor.
And made it more of a background. No, this is like documented. You can read this shit. Kurt Russell took that movie and put himself more in the background to let people like Johnny Ringo and fucking Powers Booth and fucking Val Kilmer to let them fucking shine.
That is the altruistic good heart and in artful integrity of Kurt Russell.
It's the artful integrity. The man is a god among men, okay? But that's the thing. He's wants
like a
to
nice
tell,
man, too.
When he's making a movie, he wants to tell a good story. He wants this to be a great story where all the characters, because, when I think of Tombstone, Kurt Russell just says some stoic shit and then runs with 2 guns in his hands, mowing motherfuckers down, right? And all the good lines and shit go to everybody else. Kurt Russell's just a badass. He's such a badass.
I like Christian Slater as Arkansas Dave.
Wasn't that in Young Guns too?
Yeah, it was Young Guns too.
Your
Westerns.
I know my shitty 90s Westerns for sure. So anywho, Kurt Russell's great. Fuck you, Kevin Costner.
Okay, so I think we will have more to say about Kevin Costner as we actually get into the movie. I mostly agree with what you're saying, but I would not be as aggressive and mean about it. But I don't understand. I think that the Costner phenomenon, I think he sold his fucking soul to the devil. It's one of those situations. You know what I mean?
Apparently Yellowstone's great.
Why
I don't want to watch it.
Yellowstone's great. And so is the prequel. We watched 1886 is fucking awesome.
I want to watch that, and then the other prequel with Harrison Ford is the second
Air
prequel.
Force One?
Yeah, I think it's like 1924.
Yeah. There's a whole fucking universe. Your boomer parents are really into it, I promise.
You're the one with boomer parents.
Yeah, they're really into it. And rightfully so. It's a good show. Anyway, Costner was a phenomenon in the 90s, inexplicably, right?
I don't get it.
And that doesn't mean I don't like his movies or like.
Wait, what came out for Dances with Wolves was before Last of the Mohicans, right?
Yes.
So Last of the Mohicans was trying to jump on that Dances with Wolves thing.
I mean, that always happens. And that's fucking Daniel Day-Lewis.
And Daniel Day-Lewis is a much, much, much better actor than Kevin Costner.
We've talked about this before. Daniel Day-Lewis is the greatest actor that's ever lived.
I mean, he might be.
He really might. He really is. Like, it's like he's right up there.
Bill the Butcher, bro.
He's at least on Orson Welles level.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or even, I don't know.
I'm always awed by the glory of Daniel Day-Lewis. Because in any movie, you would never, if you didn't know it was him, like there'd be movies you didn't even realize it was him. Kevin Costner, you're always going to know it's fucking Kevin Costner.
I think I know the answer to this question, but do you think in Waterworld would have been better if the Kevin Costner character was played by Daniel Day-Lewis?
Oh, yeah.
He would go live out on the ocean for 14 months and because he's
that shit would be compelling.
Yeah,
it would be compelling.
Same script, fucking everything, but it's Daniel Day-Lewis instead of. But anyway, we're not here to talk about who could replace Kevin Costner in his movies. We're here to talk about a Kevin Costner movie from 1995, which is a notorious summer flop called Waterworld. Now, I got to point this out too, and I think that this speaks a lot about Waterworld and why people like it. It is one of the last great practical effect movies.
Sure.
Like you do get kind of a Raiders of the Lost Ark, obviously a Mad Max vibe from it. Well, they have the water because it's Waterworld. Let's start with the beginning. I
think that maybe
he said something like, "Yeah, that's how it is out here on Waterworld." Like in the first 5 minutes of that movie, I was just like, "Oh God."
This movie originally started out as a Roger Corman production.
That sounds about right.
And the guy who wrote the script, it didn't get picked up or made, but he really loved his script, so he rewrote it. This is his passion project. Whoever fucking Newmeyer or some shit, whatever the guy's name is, who wrote it. And so it finally got attached to
Peter Rader and David Twohy wrote Waterworld.
One of those guys.
David Twohy.
Yeah. Anyways, it was one of the last great practical effects films, and I would dare to say that this movie single-handedly killed practical effects being used in a major way in big budget films.
That was Cutthroat Island.
I would say after this, they became much more reliant on CGI. They're like, fuck that.
Yeah, but you can't blame Waterworld for that.
Yeah,
you'd be like, we got to move to digital because Waterworld was so fucking horrible.
Because like, holy shit, you can spend this much money on this and it makes nothing.
All right, well, I'm just going to say this right
It didn't make nothing. But
again, I have less hate for Waterworld. I think I will say I think it's unfairly ranked. I think you're being unfair.
I might be being unfair.
And we'll get into that when we talk about 1995's Waterworld. Adam, let me ask you, what is 1995's Waterworld about?
So the polar ice caps have melted, and the world is now a world of water.
I thought the Universal logo was kind of clever.
It was really clever, the way the Universal world, it just zoomed in
some
on the
editor
planet.
was like, this is a great idea, boss.
They're like, thank God Universal made this one. And so the ice caps melt, and there's so much water that drips onto the planet Earth, and everything's covered in water. So there's a man out at sea. He's a mariner. He's a fish man. He's like that fish stick guy, Captain fucking Morgan.
He's like Aquaman.
He's like Aquaman.
He's Mad Max, but Aquaman.
But that's who he is.
Aquamax.
Or he's just Kevin fucking Costner, dressed like a fucking steampunk pirate or some dumb shit. He's got this big old catamaran boat. And this boat, apparently this boat was like there's like $1 million boat.
Don't you glaze over the first thing we see Kevin Costner doing in this movie.
What's he doing? He's
really setting the stage.
He's pissing in a machine and then drinking his own urine.
There's a whole Dana Carvey bit about it from like 40 years ago. Go listen.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's what he's doing because he's Kevin Costner. And to him, his piss tastes like ambrosia. So anywho,
I don't know. I don't think he was doing it for the flavor.
He might have been. He's Kevin Costner. He's like, I taste delicious.
Yeah, Kevin Costner probably does actually drink his own urine.
It's the purest form of hydration.
That's like a thing.
That Kevin Costner drinks his own piss?
No, drinking your own piss is a thing.
I think we should start a thing that Kevin Costner's one of those weirdos that drinks his own piss.
It really wouldn't shock me.
But he does it because of the flavor. He thinks he tastes excellent.
Yeah, it's not for the health quote, benefits.
Kevin Costner's like, there's nothing good enough to go into Kevin Costner, but Kevin Costner.
He just, never mind. I just had so many other visuals that I'm not going to expand on.
I like to piss in my whiskey. Is that why it's called Yellowstone?
Give me a shot of rye. Splash of Costner piss.
They keep it in little fucking bottles. It's like a little hot sauce bottle that squirts out.
It's like a it's like a bitter, it's like a bitters bottle.
It's so bitter. The real bitters. Bitters is actually made.
Next time you're in a flight, they're like the drink cart comes around to you like, do you guys have any Costner piss?
You got any KCP? Kevin Costner piss.
I think that'd be a really funny marketing. Like, you know how like Dan Aykroyd had his like weirdo Crystal Skull vodka, and Sammy Hagar has the Cabo Wabo tequila. I think Joe Perry has a barbecue sauce.
Wow.
What if you had like a liquor that was like, or not even liquor, just like a bottle? You could buy at the liquor store, it's just a bottle of Kevin Costner's piss.
This is what you add to your drink.
Or what if it was just a whiskey and that was the branding? They're like, we're gonna make fun of Waterworld and the Kevin Costner thing. KPC.
KPC. Wait, no, KCP.
Yeah.
KCP. So wait. I'm hungry now.
Okay.
Did we say something about food?
You're hungry after hearing about Kevin Costner drinking his own urine. And
that's all you have to eat in Waterworld.
I get it's a good hook. You're not expecting that to be the first thing you see, but it is one of the things people talk about with this movie is like, oh, that's the movie where he drinks his own piss.
Yeah. That's the
Quite
first thing you
literally
see
and
is-
figuratively.
And because
Okay, let me
people were
ask you
so
this.
shocked to see Kevin Costner, take down the KCP.
You know what? I don't think he might, but I don't think he actually was drinking his own piss in that scene.
Oh, really? You don't think he really was?
You know who would be drinking their own piss in that
Who?
scene? Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, he would. Fuck. Yes, he would. Daniel Day-Lewis would stoically drink his own urine. Dude, I want
stoically drink his own urine.
Can we have like a chat
Can we get
AI
we should
just
get
make
deep fakes to just recut classic movies
Waterworld
with Daniel
Day-Lewis
Day-Lewis
or Kurt Russell? I mean, again, I think it'd be a much more fun movie with Kurt Russell. If you wanted to have, listen,
I'm suddenly a fan of AI.
I'm just thinking, let's deconstruct Waterworld. Let's just do something different this time.
I thought that's what we were doing.
Okay, so shut the fuck up. So we imagine a world where Daniel Day-Lewis is Waterworld, right? And that'd be like long shots of him, like you could see the intensity in his eyes from like 300 nautical miles or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have the version, which is this is a campy movie too, of the Kurt Russell version. Like the Kurt Russell, John Carpenter directed Waterworld would have been fucking balls to the walls amazing.
It's a KCP movie.
KCP. If you little splash of the KCP in either of those.
Yeah, that's a good deconstruction of Waterworld. You just had there.
I just say take that. Which one would be better? The Danny Day-Lewis version or the Kurt Russell
This
version?
is obviously, well,
It's all this is theoretical particle physics here.
hey, it would be two different movies, but both great if they were drinking their own urine.
Either one of them.
Either one, I would prefer to
Better
watch.
than Kevin Costner.
Yes.
Mhm.
We'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
And that was the Kevin Costner urine drinking bit on the Not For Everyone podcast. We're covering
You heard-
1995's Waterworld.
You heard it here first, folks.
Now, Adam,
And
this
only
is
here.
not
The
even
real NFE.
This isn't even a subtle attempt at, hey, let's put Mad Max on the water.
No, they didn't do that. They didn't do that.
And
at all.
I do appreciate them trying to do something different with that genre. Because like the Australian outback car chase shit is not strictly George Miller.
Sure.
He's the one that put it on the map, but that is like a whole subgenre.
Yeah. And it's cool and it makes sense. I mean, like A Boy and His Dog and Mad Max,
Yeah.
okay, A Boy and His
Which
Dog
came out
gets a
first,
little-
actually, I think.
Gets a little weird when you go underground and like they're
But
all
it's still
weird.
that desert
But still.
dystopia, post-apocalyptic.
And I get, okay, let's do it on the water, but there's a lot of real inconsistencies in the logic of this movie. And I know it's sci-fi, right? But I'm just like, come on, dude. Like, really?
I would agree, but I would just counter that with this is the exact kind of movie that you really have to give it a lot of passes for it to be a movie.
I think Kevin
for it to be
Costner
a movie, for it to work as a movie.
Kevin Costner has enough passes, all
Because
right?
your big complaint with this movie is let's cut to the big fort. The big fort. Kevin Costner like?
So Kevin Costner's out there floating around.
He goes to sell some sand.
He goes to sell some sand. He's got dirt. He's got some real honest to godness dirt. He's gonna take that dirt to sell it. He takes it in this little atoll, they call it. It's a little circular. Imagine a big hula hoop or inner tube with stalactites.
It's just like a spherical,
It's like a circle
city.
It's like imagine a moat, but the moat is made out of land, and the rest of it is ocean.
Irony! I love it.
Yeah, it's like a reverse moat. And so he swims. He fucking takes his catamaran in there, and they're like, "Oh, this is real dirt. It tastes good." And we're like licking the dirt, and then
they're like Scarfacing it. They're like, "You gotta try it first."
Yeah. We gotta test this dirt out. Sticking their face in it, rubbing it its tits, and then so he
motorboat that dirt.
He gets his chits, and so okay, you imagine this. Just imagine what they're living on. It's like a shanty town. It's made out of like old particle board, and it's made out of like pieces of metal. And I'm assuming this is all scrap that they found after the end of the world.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, this is where the suspension of disbelief comes in.
Yeah, and that's my question: is how long after the fall of man is Waterworld supposed to take place?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because this has been bothering me, and I couldn't figure out what it was for the longest time. But it just dawned on me. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit.
Okay.
So Kevin Costner's character, the Mariner, is just what he's called.
Yeah.
Submariner.
AKA Kevin Costner.
I was calling him Hey Aqualung the whole time.
Oh, wow, nice.
Every time they showed him on the screen, I go, Hey Aqualung. My wife would be like, I want a divorce.
Yeah, it's not a funny joke the first time. Much less, I can only imagine you doing it repeatedly. Yeah.
Hey, isn't that funny? I said that again. Hey Aqualung. So what I'm getting at here is I forgot. I forgot what I was saying now. I forgot what I was. Oh, here it is. 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 Sitting on a park bench. No, this is what was bothering me about Waterworld is, and again, this is where my suspension of disbelief is. He collects things at the bottom of the ocean because he can breathe underwater.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert, you learn. Yeah, he has gills and shit.
Gill man.
He has gills behind his ears, and they're like, he's a mutant. We'll get to that in a second. But he there's a point where the little girl finds a crayon, and I'm just like, it's hard for me to accept that a crayon would still be
right.
Functioning.
Like enough time has passed.
To dust by
enough time has passed for a human to evolve to a level that they have gills to live in the water, right? But also,
they're like bribing her with brand new highlighter pens.
Highlighter pens and cigarettes. Every bad guy in this movie is smoking a cigarette.
Now I will, Adam, they do grow food, so they could grow tobacco. But paper is very valuable.
Right.
But apparently cigarettes are aplenty.
They're like, oh my God, you have a piece of paper? Wow. I have 50 cigarettes on me right now. That's all fucking paper. They have no means of production. Okay, they're on the water. They're floating and like
they do.
scrap.
They have that big, the smokers have that big ship where they like build cars and shit. It's like Detroit on the water. 8 Mile, bitch. There's like a rap battle going on.
I would just think that there'd be more like, so in Mad Max, what makes sense about Mad Max is like the scarcity of it, right? Like they're like, we want your land, you want your gasoline, we want your water, right? Because it's fucking dangerous out here. And in Waterworld, like the bad guys, like we're gonna find the dry land, but they're totally don't care how many bullets they spend. They don't care how many cigarettes they smoke.
Scarcity is definitely a theme.
He's like standing there with a fucking half bottle of Jack Daniel's whiskey with the label still on it. Like, how long is this?
So the audience can go like, oh, he's drinking whiskey, and their nose starts bleeding, and they're just like fucking drooling. No, but I get what you're saying, but it's like those kind of things don't really bother me because it's like, what the fuck ever. That's not going to make or break something. But the crayon thing did bother me, to be honest.
Well, that's the whole point of making.
But
build a world.
But you can't argue that scarcity is not a theme in this movie because it's one of the major ones. Because you have Dennis Hopper, he has an oil well tanker.
He has an oil tanker. He has the Exxon Valdez. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and he's running out of oil, and this is like why he's so powerful is he's acquired all the oil and gas resources and shit. It's very metaphorical.
It's fucking dumb.
Okay, so what we have to talk about now, Kevin Costner arrives at the little hula hoop city that you were just talking about, the reverse moat city. And come to find out, they find out he's a what they would call a mutant.
Yeah, because they're trying to leave, and the city elders bring a young, semi-attractive Asian woman, and they're like, hey, Mariner, go ahead and knock this lady up, all right? We don't want to keep fucking around.
They imply that there's like inbreeding going on.
Yeah.
It's not the best stock. It's not the best stock of humans.
Exactly. And so he's like, nah, I'm good. And they're like, why? Why would a man not want a woman? Grab him, capture him. And they look behind his ears and there's gills. So they decide that he's a threat.
Maybe he has fish dicks.
6-inch fish dick. He might be a gay fish. And what if he's a gay fish? I think that might have been like, maybe they should have leaned on that more. If this was in 2023, they would have leaned on that a lot more.
No. The power of Janine Triplehorn breaks his celibacy.
Gene.
So they put him in this suspended hanging cage, which looked very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
it's very hard to sit down in.
Poor Kevin.
And they're going to drop him in what I like to call the diarrhea pit.
How do you have a diarrhea pit on the ocean?
Here's my problem with all of this. I can explain the diarrhea pit very easily.
Please do.
It makes perfect sense.
Explain it to me, please.
But before I do that, why would you murder a man that can dive underwater and acquire resources for you?
Because he's different.
Make him your slave.
Right.
Make him your slave. And say you can live on our cool hula hoop hut on the water.
Right.
The hula hut is what I like to call it.
Well, that was just a sign that Kevin Costner
that racism still exists in the end times.
Exactly. They're making a point that all the people are cool with each other. Race, color, creed, unless you got gills. So explain the diarrhea pit for me.
Okay. The diarrhea pit makes perfect sense because, one, you can potentially convert diarrhea into fuel.
So you think everybody's shitting there?
Yeah. And you also don't necessarily want everyone to be shitting like off the side into the stationary and be near, like, I don't know. Like, I feel like maybe if you just had a bunch of sewage, the fish you're eating and shit would get all. But the energy conversion thing kind of makes sense, right? And instead of having to waste like bullets on people they want to execute, they can just drop them in the diarrhea pit. And that diarrhea pit will kill a gill man because a gill man can only breathe underwater. A gill man, I don't think, can breathe under diarrhea.
So I don't. Okay, sure. How is the diarrhea pit in that one spot? It was like in the
wasn't
water.
a great choice, but I think it was a necessity of their situation.
It didn't make sense, but they were like, when they dropped dead bodies in there anyways. So that pit would have to smell atrocious. But I'm just asking, you're right over the water. Is there like a bottom to that diarrhea pit?
If you drop, yeah, of course there is.
Oh.
It's not a perfect rectangle of diarrhea pit without it being contained by something. And how you don't want it to get diluted by the water. That would defeat the purpose of a diarrhea pit.
You think there's any water going in there, or is that just all diarrhea?
You can convert that to, you also convert corpses. You can convert it into fertilizer for your crops. Like, the diarrhea pit does make sense.
The crops they had on this atoll was one tomato plant that Kevin Costner bought.
And tobacco.
Where do they get all the fucking tobacco?
Dude, they can grow shit. That's the point. And what they need to grow shit is a local source of diarrhea.
You think maybe that's why the paper was so valuable, because they used it to make cigarettes?
Yes, but the way they treat paper when they actually tell the audience that it's very valuable makes no sense with watching all the cigarettes being smoked.
And it also makes no sense because they're like, oh my God, it's paper. It's so
maybe
valuable.
They were just rolling
and
it
then,
with
like,
leaves or
he
something.
goes into his fucking
maybe
boat.
they rolled their cigarettes with diarrhea, dried out diarrhea.
But he goes looking in the boat, and he has like National Geographics and shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, you have to show something of the before time. Like, I get that. That does not bother me.
No, you don't, though. No, you fucking don't.
Okay, so what about the scene where he goes and takes, which is a stupid fucking scene, by the way.
It was lazy and dumb in that they had to make it. I don't know. You can make a fantastical world on the water where the weather makes sense everything makes sense.
It's called the Naboo.
Yeah. It just not have to fucking hack of Mad Max and like, oh, the world melted or the polar ice. And also, if the polar ice caps melted, it wouldn't fucking flood that much of the world.
That's why there is dry land.
Yeah. There'd be a lot more.
There is dry land. Well, I mean, not necessarily if you're like, I don't know. Again, all the things you're complaining about, if you fix them, you would not have a movie. You would not have a successful movie like Waterworld.
I'm just arguing that you don't have a movie right now.
Okay.
With what we
just have a
filmed
you have
and
a
watched.
Diarrhea pit is what you have.
Okay, so the diarrhea pit, I guess it makes sense.
The diarrhea pit makes, I think it's a very
What
clever.
didn't make
it's
sense
like,
to
it's
me.
like the way that in Walking Dead they drive Priuses because it conserves gas.
In this little reverse moat town.
It's diarrhea pit product placement.
In this little moat town, refusing having sex with a woman that's thrown at you
is different, man.
It's grounds for that's search and seizure. They're like, we're gonna take all your things because you won't have sex with our woman.
Yeah, I think they were suspicious because of that, and they're like, "Oh, he's not even into chicks because he's into I almost said diarrhea. He's into being a fish mutant.
He's into being a fish mutant. So
drinking his own Kevin Costner urine."
So then we meet Jean Triplehorn and her little daughter thing, Deb from Napoleon Dynamite, and these are great characters. Jean Triplehorn is a hot chick who runs the eatery. In the place that sells one thing, which is a tomato plant and water.
I was pointing this out because I think Janine Triplehorn's or Jean. All right, I'll call her Jean. I've always heard Janine, but whatever.
Just say Triplehorn. Triplehorny.
Triplehorny. I've always she looks striking in this movie.
When I first saw this movie in 1995, I can honestly say, and I don't even understand myself.
I don't know where this is going. I'm really into diarrhea.
Didn't think she was hot at all. I was like, her? When I was young, right? I was like, her? Really?
Yeah.
And now I'm like, God damn, Jean Triplehorn's fucking smoking hot.
Yeah,
triple hottie.
I think we like that at that age we were into
Pamela Anderson.
Over the top kind of 90s
bullshit,
fake tit Baywatch babe types. You didn't really appreciate the Jean Triplehorns of the world.
Right. You're looking good, James.
Mm-hmm.
You're way better at everything you do than Kevin Costner. Except making money, probably.
Yeah.
That dude makes a lot of money.
So the smokers show up, right? And if you don't know what smokers are,
they're smoking cigarettes the whole time. That's why they smoke. Oh.
It's because they protrude smoke out of their jet ski cavalry.
So one thing that I've left out in my time about bitching about how terrible Waterworld is not talking about what makes Waterworld so fucking great.
Yes.
And that is Dennis Hopper as the leader of the bad guys.
I came to this conclusion watching this movie. I think 90s era Dennis Hopper might be my favorite Dennis Hopper.
Right, sure.
Speed,
yeah.
Waterworld,
yeah.
Super Mario Brothers.
I mean,
Blue Velvet was a few years before.
He
that.
doesn't.
Not
He
technically
doesn't
90s.
make. There's nothing wrong with his performance.
No.
In Super Mario Brothers, the movie, at all.
I mean, I guess Dennis Hopper is to Super Mario Brothers as Dennis Hopper is to Waterworld. It's like the same exact effect.
Fair enough.
Where you're like, wow, this would be way shittier if Dennis Hopper's performance was not in this movie.
Dennis Hopper is so over the top and like even in the movies like they ripped off, the Mad Max movies, there's not a villain in Mad Max as good as fucking Dennis Hopper in Waterworld.
That's bold.
That's bold, dude.
But I think you might be right.
What's his name? Deacon or something?
Well, the guy from
his name?
The guy from Fury Road, right? I think that's a really cool looking villain, but it's not really a maniacal performance in the way Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper's way cooler than the Humongous.
Yeah.
All right. Like Humongous is badass, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah. But it's just not the same. It's not a performance that like you're enthralled by or really entertained. Like it's not all that fun to watch on the screen. Dennis Hopper is a fun watch in this movie.
It's a fun watch. He's
very funny in this movie too.
Deacon. His name is Deacon. He's over the top. He cracks fucking jokes. He's so mean to little children and people. He really is just a great character. He's a good role model. I really liked him in it. He has a pirate hat in a certain point. He's bald headed.
So Dennis Hopper's our villain. His name's Deacon.
Yeah,
he's the best performance. The best reason to watch this movie.
Only reason why.
That's bold. Okay, but they're wanting to take over they think the girl. Okay, so the little Napoleon Dynamite girl has a map to dry land on her back that just looks like a bad tribal tattoo from a fucking guy at a Dave Matthews concert.
But apparently they didn't have tattoos out in Waterworld.
Yeah. And everyone's after this little girl's back map. Where I'm like, why don't someone just draw it? Like, just draw it and leave the girl
draw
alone.
it, right. Like, we got to cut it off her back. Like, what?
Yeah, it's very weird. But again, you wouldn't have a movie without these things. So they attack the Shire, the Water Shire, and Kevin Costner's still in the cage. He's like, let me out, I can fight. And there's this big bombastic action sequence on the water, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I mean, it's a really cool set.
The action stuff is cool in this movie. The premise, that's up for debate.
There's a lot of zip line action in this movie.
Zip line action. Like, I like when you see, like, I like the stuff about, it's dumb, but I like when, like, jet skis are, like, underwater, like, waiting to...
It's so
and even my wife, who loves this movie, she's like, how are they breathing that long? I'm like, yeah, they have some sort of apparatus. Hey, Aqualung.
None of that's important.
Yeah, don't worry about that. So they escape with Napoleon Dynamite girl, Jean Triplehorn, and Kevin Costner. And then the guy that has the mouse in Green Mile has a hot air balloon.
Yeah, he's got a hot air balloon.
And he gets away like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, he was there.
He comes back later for reasons.
I mean, it's very, very Mad Max plot. Imagine like the cities and the people. Is this Road Warrior? You know, like when the script was written originally, that Roger Corman was going to do it. It's
just Flint, Michigan.
It was a ripoff of. It was definitely a ripoff of Road Warrior. It was like at that time too.
Yeah,
this would have just been a knockoff Road Warrior.
Well, let's say
movie.
Wait a minute. I think that this was more or less like, let's breathe some life into that genre with a new twist on it, because Beyond Thunderdome came out in what, like 89, 85?
Yeah.
So, okay, 10 years had passed before we saw a major blockbuster attempt at that kind of thing.
Are you sure about that?
I can't think of anything else.
Well,
the big ones are Waterworld and the Mad Max series. The other ones are all just schlock exploitation stuff.
I would say those are still better than fucking Waterworld. I mean,
maybe, probably some of them are, yeah.
Let's see.
What are you looking up? Are you Googling desert dystopia movies?
Yeah, I am.
Between 1985 and 1995?
Yes, I am, because I want to know.
Is this what it's like dealing with me?
Yeah. This is similar. I'm glad you're getting a taste of your own medicine tonight, Bobby. 85 to 95 movies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's seriously, it's the Mad Max series and Waterworld are probably the two biggest of that genre. So here's something interesting. Isn't it so clever? The little girl, Napoleon Dynamite girl, cannot swim. Turns out she can't swim because...
How would you not be able to swim in Waterworld?
Because homeboy, Kevin Costner, he plays the fucking smarmy dick with the heart of stone, and then by the end, he's like, looks at the Napoleon Dynamite as his daughter and blah, blah, blah. So we get all that shit, all that schmaltzy horse shit. That's the arc of his character. He finds the love and humanity or whatever.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Right.
But there's a point where he throws the little girl in the water when he's not bonded with her, and I keep on saying Gina Davis because it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, totally same thing.
So Gina Davis is like, she can't swim, and I'm like, as a kid watching this, I was like, oh, yeah, she can't swim, like whatever, and I'm just like, because I wasn't very bright.
Right, still aren't. But,
but I've gotten better, so I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Like, I don't care if you've seen dry land or not. Like, someone's going to teach you how to swim in Waterworld.
In fucking Waterworld, somebody's going to teach you to swim.
That's just how things go in Waterworld. So that's weird. But what it is, and they're trying to get at, like, she's from the land, so she doesn't know how to swim. She's different. Like, that's what that attempt was. But it was kind of a logical, stupid thing.
You know what's weird about Waterworld to me? Is in this whole movie, it's all just like sunshine. It's just sunny skies.
Here we go with the weather complaint.
There's not a cloud in the fucking sky. Like that fucking reverse moat they lived on. Like if a fucking hurricane hit, if a big storm, a tropical storm ran through that thing, it'd fucking sink. And on top of that, you have no resources to repair it. Like they don't have resources.
Humans have a lot of ingenuity in desperate situations.
Okay.
And in sci-fi dystopian world, again, you have to like accept that.
You know what's funny is they spent $5 million to make that thing, right? And then a fucking hurricane hit, and it sank to the bottom of the ocean, and they had to build another one
to the bottom of the box office.
So Waterworld ended up becoming a successful stunt show at the Universal Studios in Florida and California, I believe. And the action sequences in this movie seem like a stunt show from Universal Studios.
Yeah, I had that thought as well.
They're a lot of fun.
I think there might have been one.
There was.
I'm not going to look it up.
There definitely was. 100%.
It lasted maybe 3 months.
I mean,
I feel like I remember seeing some ad for that.
You're just
Universal Studio or Six Flags or some shit. But this was a Universal movie, so it may have been.
It was. I'm telling you, it was. And you don't listen, Bobby. You don't listen. Why don't you listen, Bobby? So anyways, do we even have... I don't really have a lot to say about this movie. I don't like it. I don't fucking like it.
Right, we're not even past the first act here, all right?
Damn it.
All right, so they get on the boat. We have several boat chases, and the little girl finds the crayons and is drawing pictures on the sailboat, and it's like representing now she's like imposing it on his life.
Crayons like melt.
I don't want to talk about the crayons anymore.
Okay.
I know it bothers me to Kingdom Come.
You brought it up.
He teaches her to swim eventually, right? And there's got to be more to it than this.
There's a lot of bonding, and then like they go somewhere, and after this, like what happened is the bad guys attack the city. They attack the atoll, and they're going full fucking steam ahead. They got like Gatling guns and like just all sorts of waste, which I would not expect in Waterworld. But they're just blowing shit up. But they redirected somehow with Mariner's powers of fucking seamanship. He like made the gunner shoot the big Mad Max thing that Dennis Hopper was on.
Yeah.
And it blew up.
Whatever.
It blew up.
What the fuck ever. Okay.
And it damaged his eye. So after that,
he looks like the bounty hunter from Masters of the Universe.
He does. After that, he's one-eyed and he has an eye patch and shit. And so he wants revenge. So he's setting up all these traps around the ocean, around the Waterworld, looking for this Mariner.
That's just how it goes on Waterworld.
And eventually they catch up to him, and they capture the girl. And because she wants to see the dry land, and Gene Travolta's
right.
I know you've seen the dry land.
Let's fast forward. Yeah. All that shit happens.
But no, they go underwater.
Yeah. They go. Oh yeah. Let's talk about that.
That's where it's going. And he's like, well, let me show you where dry land is.
And this is where the science kind of bothers me too.
Oh, now it does.
Because does she have an aqua lung?
No.
I don't think she has an aqua lung.
She was in a jug.
She was in a jug. So he has the strength of something that the pressure for that is insane.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way Kevin Costner and his little fish arms. You can't do that with like heavy machinery. Take something that deep with that much air. Okay.
Yeah, it would go right up to the top.
Be like,
yeah.
It would that would be incredibly difficult. But he takes her on a whole tour of New York City.
Yeah. So she's in like a dome.
It's playing
a see-through plastic
if
dome.
I can make it here, I'll make it.
And he drags her by hand, just by swimming, all the way down to the bottom of the ocean floor.
It is connected to like a wire or a tube or something. Because you would run out of oxygen in that thing immediately. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like within like 40 seconds.
Wait, a diving bell wouldn't last you longer than 40 seconds?
Unless there was some sort of snorkel tube going up. Yeah, I think you have to have. I think you have to have a source of oxygen to go underwater.
Well, there's also a
I'm
scene.
no scientist.
There's also a scene where they go underwater and he's got to like mouth to mouther to like.
He's like, I think I like the ladies.
It's kind of hot. It was kind of hot. But here's the thing. So he's pulling in water through his gills, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we're assuming that his body is turning that into breathable air that he is blowing into the mouth of Jean Triplehorn. Like in reality, he would just be like, I would assume he's just blowing water in her mouth. Like she'd be drowning right
he's
there.
giving her fishman CPR.
That wouldn't work. Like
no,
that wouldn't work at all.
Okay, you know what? You're right. Fuck all this. This movie's stupid. No, I actually enjoy watching it a lot. I understand why people like it. I'm not here to offend. I'm trying to remain diplomatic here because you, as much as you're complaining, like you do like Dennis Hopper in this.
Oh
movie.
yeah, he's great.
And you think some of the action
Some
stuff
of the
is
action
pretty
sequences
fucking
are
awesome.
fucking awesome. They're so over the top and big budget and ridiculous. I just think there's like, I don't know, probably like an hour and 10 minutes that should just be cut. And all of that should just be like Kevin Costner. Maybe show him in the action sequences. But if you took an hour of Kevin Costner out of that movie, it'd be great. It'd be like an hour and 15 minutes. It'd be awesome. I want to see the hour and 15 minutes.
I just want to see the whole movie starring the girl from Napoleon Dynamite, who, by the way, she's a great little child actress, but it wasn't her fault. But some of the exchanges are just really fucking annoying in this movie. She's just like, you're not so tough, you know, like that whole thing. And he's like, you're breaking my heart of stone because you like the fish daughter I never had. I'm just like, I get it, but it's also annoying. But here's what really bothered me. Here's what really bothered me about
what bothered you about Waterworld?
Like towards the end, before the final showdown with Dennis Hopper, they jump on board the like 40-foot catamaran.
They just have a fucking airplane that still works.
Oh yeah, they have an airplane too.
Of course.
But they get on the Kevin Costner's 40-foot catamaran, and they're like, tell me where she is. And I'm just like, just fucking like, just look around. It's literally going to take you 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're a 12 by 12 foot catamaran.
Like, we're going to hold you hostage until you spill your guts on where the little girl is. I'm like, she's right there. Like, you're like, I found her,
She's behind
So that was stupid.
Well,
that was also stupid.
I mean, Kevin Costner is so
She was like in a hole, like.
Yeah, you wait here. There's not enough air in there for two people. Like, yeah, that one would have died like, immediately. And then also, like, wouldn't the pressure like crush her legs as she got deeper to the bottom?
Fucking probably.
Probably.
I don't know. She's not in one of those cool submarines that go visit the Titanic. She's not in one of those cool high tech James Cameron things. So,
Cameronium.
It's not a flawless film. So let's send it home, and I'll explain further why this is not a flawless film.
I'm sorry to everybody out there who loves Waterworld. I really am.
Because I know a lot of people that listen to us. They're like, I love that movie.
I'm glad
thank you for
like
covering it. So
I like stupid bad things too.
So let's wrap it up. So there's the final showdown. There's a big fight or whatever, and explosions, and there's like there's zip lines, and then there's this water ski cavalry and all that shit. And eventually, they fucking the guy from the Green Mile shows up on his hot air balloon and like rescues them just in the nick of time.
I know what you're talking about.
He has a little mouse in his pocket. and he's an Airbud too.
He's the Fisher King.
In the Fisher King. Mm-hmm. He's a good actor. I don't know his name.
Yeah, twin brother. They were on Sesame Street.
Yeah. And Kevin Costner has to bungee jump down off the hot air balloon driven by the guy from the Green Mile.
Yep.
And rescue Napoleon Dynamite's girlfriend in the nick of time so they can save the tribal tattoo on her back and find dry land. And Dennis Hopper actually survives. There's this big crash.
No, I guess no. This was the end for him. So these 3 jet skis, all right, just bear with me. I don't know if you ever seen a jet ski in real life.
I feel like there was a Dennis Hopper like shaking his fist as they got away or something. Am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking of something else.
All right.
So these 3 jet skis are all heading straight for the girl. Now he comes and drops down, bungee style, grabs Napoleon Dynamite's girlfriend, bungees back up. Now, I don't know why these 3 guys didn't like see each other to not hit. But anyways,
they were dedicated to that map.
When they hit, there was a huge, massive explosion. A massive explosion. I mean, it was big. It's like a mushroom cloud. Like a jet ski doesn't do that.
But thankfully,
a jet ski does not do that.
Thankfully, Aquaman was able to rescue Napoleon Dynamite's girlfriend to avoid the 3 jet ski collision smoke monster.
It was dumb.
They find dry land and they're like, Kevin Costner's like, I can't stay here because I'm Kevin Costner. I'm thinking he's going to do the scene for Prince of Thieves where he's like, I'm home. And he's like eating the sand and shit.
Right, yeah.
No, he's a man of the sea. He belongs out there on the ocean.
He's there for like 7 minutes. Like, no,
and the little girl's like, you can't leave me. And then there's a scene where like she's like frustrated with him because he's leaving and she just abruptly kind of turns around and runs into the jungle.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, she must be very upset.
You know who's an unsung hero in this movie? Character actor R.D. Call, who played the jailer, the sheriff guy.
Yeah.
That guy's great. And he's in a lot of movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's
in the very beginning, right?
He was there at the end too.
Okay.
State of Grace, he's in that. He's in a bunch of movies.
Yeah. I did here's what I liked about this movie. Obviously, the action's great. The set pieces are cool. The idea is very neat, I think. I like Dennis Hopper. I really like Dennis Hopper's exchange with Napoleon Dynamite's girlfriend. There's like a whole scene there that's
where
great.
he's just like, he's so
that whole
over the
thing
top.
is hilarious.
Oh, it's great.
Go watch that scene. But it kind of is what it is Waterworld.
I think
in its defense, there are 3 different cuts of this movie. Do you want to talk about that?
I only know the one I saw.
There's the theatrical cut, there's the made for TV cut, and then there's the Ulysses cut. So the theatrical cut is obviously what you saw in the theater.
Sure.
They made one for TV where they cut down on the violence, but they added an extra 40 minutes that supposedly makes this a better movie. The Ulysses cut, I think it was a fan project where they were like, let's take the best parts of the added footage from the made for TV one and recut it with all the violence and debauchery of the original. And there's a 2-hour and I believe 40-minute version of this movie that J Plus swears by.
Can we get the cut where they take an hour out of Kevin Costner out of the movie, add everything else in, take an hour of him out, comes out to like an hour.
The beginning is just him drinking his own piss, then he falls off deck and drowns. And then we start the movie.
He can still be in the movie, but the thing is, like, Kevin Costner's character would be so much better if he was just like a stoic dude in the background. Think Kurt Russell is Wyatt Earp, right? Just in the background, being cool, taking
we know
care
you
of
like.
shit.
Everyone loves Kurt Russell.
Are you besmirching?
Everyone loves.
Are you
Kurt
besmirching
Russell.
Kurt Russell right now?
No. Okay, so
say his name with enthusiasm, Bobby.
Everyone loves Kurt fucking Russell.
Thank you.
Yeah, Waterworld. I think it's an interesting timepiece, and I definitely don't think it's unwatchable. And I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for, especially you. It's also not great.
I'll watch the Ulysses cut.
You're gonna watch a 2-hour and 40-minute version of this movie you just spent an hour talking shit about?
Maybe.
You got a lot of time on your hands.
I guess so. What are we watching next, Bobby?
That's a great question.
I don't want to do Battlefield Earth.
I know you don't. I know you don't want to do Battlefield Earth. I really want to do that one.
Why?
Here's the thing. We might have to expand outside of the official list of blockbusters because a lot of it's newer stuff. So we'll figure it out, but I think we're going to keep the Flopbuster video theme going at least for a couple more episodes.
Sure.
Hey, let's do this. Halloween's just around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a new listener to Not For Everyone podcast, we start celebrating Halloween in September, and it goes through Thanksgiving. So We always do a theme. We're open to suggestions. Hit us up on patreon.com if you want us to consider that suggestion a lot more seriously, which is not for everyone not for everyone on Patreon. $5 a month.
I don't even care if you give us $5. Just tell your friends. I don't even want your money. I don't get that money. I don't see a penny. I don't even get to log into Patreon.
It literally just pays for everything we need to post the show. That's where we're at right now. There's nothing being netted right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I haven't shared any of the fucking wealth with you, because
I don't know. It's a new T-shirt, Bobby.
This is from my day job, not my podcast job.
Oh. Anywho, listen, people, if you're anything like me, you get a hankering for coffee just about every fucking day.
Morning,
noon, sometimes at night.
I'm gonna have one pretty soon here.
You know what, Bobby? When I walk out of the studio, I'm gonna take a shit. But then I want to drink some coffee. So how about you go downstairs?
Usually it's the other way around.
And make some of that delicious Fox & Sons coffee. You can find it online at foxandsons.com. It's good before or after taking a dump. But if you like a good tasty coffee, like a good greasy bean, nothing's gonna beat Fox & Sons.
I like how we've branded Fox & Sons coffee.
Fox & Sons coffee.
Promo code NFE. I think that's all, folks. I think that's all we got in as. I think we beat the Waterworld.
Listen, people, not to be contrarian to everything I just said.
Yeah.
But go watch Waterworld.
Yeah, go watch it.
It's not the worst. I just don't like them. That's pretty much